All I can say is I feel badly for you. Okay.
All right, so, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said you wanted to talk about the trap and trap option?
I sure do.
Um,
Now, in the process, you'll probably say some things about the other stuff too, and that's fine. If you think there's a better way to go, just you tell me.
no.
I'm learning from you.
Yeah, the trap and trap option are really not part of the triple option, but it's option. And I really like running the trap.
So do I.
And, something that,
Yeah.
I started running the trap and it was an okay play. And then I went and I talked to Skip Boffman, who was at St. Mary Memorial. We played against him way back when. And I was just like amazed by how he ran his offense. He was a wing T offense. And you knew what was coming, but you couldn't stop him. So after we played him, I went and visited him and asked him, can you show me some of your stuff? Well, I wasn't willing to go run the whole wing T offense, but I really liked his trap. So that's where it got started. And then had a little bit of an influence from Frank Lenti from Chicago that I got the triple option from. And then I also kind of honed up some of the things from Wofford College. And that's where if you don't know where Wofford is, it's where the Carolina Panthers practice in the summertime. So, but anyway, I told you before that I used to run the trap, set up the trap option, but now I do it the other way. Try to run the trap option first so that we can bust the trap up the middle. Because I think there's not too much more exciting than watching a trap break through clean and get into the secondary. So, I can put up any defense up here. The thing I like about the trap and trap option too is we can run it strong or weak. So we don't have to, we can run out any formation. So, this is the formation we've been using right here for our talks. So I don't know if you came up with a name for it. I mean, we've always called it ace or right or left, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the only thing I'm thinking about is we probably are gonna have a big enough difference between the two slot backs that one of them probably needs to be into the short side so that he's running to the field, because he'll be the faster kid and the other guy would be to the field. And so if we have ace, I don't wanna call him ace right and left. We usually do stuff like it would be green and gold, or it would be red and gold, or something
okay.
like that.
No problem. I think in terms of this trap to, well, I guess I better do trap option first, since I said that's what we set up. So I'm gonna put an odd front or a 50 front up here, okay? Okay, so anyway, we will combo the nose here. And then this guy he's got a kind of a unique role, and this is where I think the play really became a great play for us. Is he's tracking that linebacker, and he's going to block him wherever he meets the line of scrimmage. So if this guy fills, he can meet him in any of these places along the line of scrimmage. So he's just going to pull him. Basically what happens is the guard, the backside guard, has to get him in his eyesights while he's in his stance. I don't care if anybody knows we're running that way. It doesn't really matter to me. That this linebacker over here is not going to be watching him for the most part. So, for him to, look over there, we don't want him to pull and then have it be an afterthought. Oh, I got to locate this guy or find him and block him. So we're going to pull, and wherever he comes, we're going to try to get outside leverage on him. Okay, could be here, really anywhere. And if he's running to the sideline to try to stop the play, then we'll kick him out of bounds if we have to. We've done that before. Okay, but what we don't want to do is we don't want to go after that linebacker. He has to attack the line of scrimmage, and we're not going after him until he makes his move to the line of scrimmage. So you almost have to see it on film to kind of decide or see what we're trying to talk about there. Okay, so anyway, he's tracking that guy. Okay, our tackle is going to base hook before technique. Okay, base rule means he's blocking the guy on him. Okay, so if there's a different front, our base rule is A, B, C, nearest most dangerous linebacker. If there's nobody to block, then we're going to the nearest linebacker. Okay, but in this defense, we usually have somebody either over us or just to our outside.
So is the center have a base block also?
I'm sorry?
Does the center have a base block also?
Yeah, I call it, you could call it a base combo. It's a double team, but we're gonna double team this zero nose, and we're looking for that linebacker coming over the top to come off on him. Okay. There's a lot of coaching points here that I don't want to miss, but I want to get the basic blocking taken care of first.
All right.
The first guy outside the tackle is our option read. So we got to figure out how we're going to block these two guys out here. And we can use trail blocking rules from last week if you want, or you can just stalk these people. But trail blocking rules to us was identify what the number one receiver over here is doing against this corner. In this case, it's outside leverage or cover two. He'd be coming here, and we're going to go right there like that. We talked about some of the technique on that last week. I can go over it again if you want, but
That's good.
just leave it right there for now. Okay, so our guard's pulling. He's responsible for that linebacker. And then this guy's, our backside tackle is going to fill for our guard. So he's going to take most dangerous through B gap. Okay, so it ends up being on that defense, ends up being basically a lead step and run for him. Okay, and then we don't have to go in motion on this play. That's another reason I like it. The way it times up and everything, it's a slow developing play because we got to fake the trap first. And so this guy can take off, okay, when the ball's snapped. Okay, and when we go in motion, we're always going for the butt of the fullback, and we don't want to get real deep, and we want to flatten out from there. I said we whirly bird, we turn all the way around here like this, okay? And the fullback's going to go, he's really going up the middle, but he's going to go just to the left, and he's going to run his course just like he's running trap, full speed. He wants to make it look exactly like a trap, okay? Now, we talked about you don't want to do the whirly birds, and we've done it both ways, so we would open up opposite, fake the trap, and then come back under.
Why did you go to the whirly bird?
I just think it's more deceptive.
Okay.
You're doing, you do the trap that way, you do that, the ball becomes, not visible because you're turning your back completely.
Is there anything special to the quarterback's footwork? Is it just is he falling 180? Is he going 180 degrees and falling off the line?
180 degrees, but I like to dig that toe in about 6 o'clock, pull all the way around like that. Okay, and then just continue. Okay, so that's kind of what we would do right there. Okay.
Ben, Coach
So
Jacoby.
If he opens up this
Hey,
way.
Bob, this is
He's
Ben
not-
Barlow. I want you to
I'm sorry,
meet
hey,
him.
Bob. Nice to meet you. If he's opening this way, then he's not picking up the option on that guy until he turns back.
Right.
Right.
On the right.
Right, and that's the thing that you got to be careful of, because I was watching some film today. Your guy has to be ready to pitch it when he comes out, whether he's whirly birding or whether he's opening opposite. When he turns to find that read, he's got to be ready to pitch it, because if they're coming down hard and you don't get it off, you can get smacked right in the face. Now, he could literally be pitching it right here where he's at. He could be pitching it right there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure we stress that. So I could show you a few bad examples of that. Okay? And then this guy, you can do whatever you want with him. Okay? But it's a double option, so it's quarterback keeper pitch. Once he comes out of there, okay, then we're off over there. Now, one of the reasons I like to run this is when you're going against a 50 defense, okay, and this guy starts to get nosy, this 4 technique starts to get nosy on the option and make it difficult for you. He's easy to hook. Okay, but we want to talk about base hook. We want movement more than the hook. In other words, if this is the guy right here, I don't want to jump out here right now because he'll just come off and make the play. I want to get him going backwards. If I do that, I've done my job. But if I can get him going backwards, the play fake itself will draw him in and help me swing my hips around. But I want to clear him out of there if I can.
So what's the number? 32-33 is triple. What's the number for this play?
Well, our number is, for this play is 48-49.
48-49. Okay.
We run our plays in series. So 40 series is trap and trap options.
So 40-41 is trap.
Yeah. And really, that's the only 2 plays in
Right.
series that we have. So
Draw this thing, same play, and draw it up against an offset 4.
I think we saw 150 last year, and we saw.
yeah, well, just when you think you're going to see something, everybody changes their mind and
Yeah.
goes to the next thing. So you want a shade or an eagle? I don't care.
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, so if we put this in, you're talking about like this?
Well, you can. That's fine. I would.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. I was doing a single. mic
Oh, you
back.
want-
But that's all right. That's all right. It's all right.
Doesn't matter.
Because the other thing we see all the time is we don't see any too high safeties all year long. All we see is 3 deep and
Strong
a
safety.
monster. You know, you got.
Yeah, it's, here, what's gonna happen is, they can't do that, okay? They can't put a strong safety in there. Now, if you're running option, they can do this, okay? When you go in motion, they'll drop that guy down and they'll rotate him over and you end up in a monster. But we don't motion on track, so
Right.
they can't do that, okay?
Okay.
And so if they're gonna put their strength designate to one side against a balanced formation like that, if they do something like that, or maybe they bring this linebacker in a little bit, and then,
You're gonna check it and go the other way.
well, we don't have to check it, but the thing is, we can run this play to the weak side, to the strong side. We always have enough people, doesn't matter. We're always gonna have enough,
Okay.
okay?
A lot of
That's
people,
what I like.
when we ran motion this year, a lot of people actually moved. If we ran motion this way, they'd move that backer up,
Okay?
free out, and so on like that. If you ever run motion this way and then run the trap
Oh, yeah,
back the other way, counter.
you can do, once you start understanding how the play is working and how people are adjusting to it, you can mess them up by doing stuff like that. So, but you gotta have, usually if, you gotta have a base to start from, and then you can tag it. Like, if you know you're not running motion when you're running trap, and you wanna tag it so there is motion to get them to actually rotate away from where you're going, that's okay too. But,
So let's do this just for me, if you would, please.
Okay.
Let's do it against this front, and let's do it against an eagle front. So we're gonna have
Okay.
a shade front.
yeah,
The one-
okay,
This is the
so,
way he calls these things.
so what's gonna happen is, we're gonna PC the 3 technique right there.
All right.
Okay? On the shade, we're blocking down on the shade, okay? And then this, because of this 3 technique, we don't want to high-low him. We're gonna go try to get that guy that hips over the top, okay? And then we're gonna base hook this right here, okay? And then we're gonna come here, and we're gonna come here. We'll option that guy, and we're tracking this guy, okay? So, wherever he goes. Okay? So, kinda in everybody's way, I think.
All right, you're good.
So it's the same thing there, however you wanna do it, okay? But we're coming off right like that. You know, I'm gonna do this a little different. I'm gonna go ahead and go right here. Because what I don't like is I'm gonna track this linebacker against a 4-3, okay? Because what I don't like is, and we could end up having 2. If that guy fills, we'll send him to the safety. But what I don't like is him having a clear shot. A lot of times in a 4-3, these guys are working in combination, and if this guy reaches here to get the hook, then this guy's gonna go through the open window right there. I don't want him blasting my quarterback, okay? Or, there's really 3 different ways we can do that. Want me to start over?
I'm, either way, I'm fine with what you got, go ahead.
I'll clean it up again.
So the onside guard's gonna block down in the shade, so the center now has, how would you describe that? I
Well,
mean,
he's got base rule, so that works out perfect then. So it's ABC, nearest most dangerous linebacker. Or for the center, ABC means L0R, nearest most dangerous
Right,
linebacker.
right.
Okay? Okay,
One
so-
of the nice things about that is with the trap fake in there,
Yeah,
that guy's not flowing out to the trap option, that's for sure.
yeah.
I mean, not an issue.
I mean, you gotta make sure that this fullback understands if he wants the ball in the trap, he better do his job selling the fake on the trap option.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So we can track that guy here. Okay, you can decide who you want to. Like I said before, though, we're going to end up with 2 high safeties against this formation. Okay, so this guy can go here, this guy can go here, or we can do our trail blocking and we'll option that guy. Okay, but you can really pick who you want to option. You know what I'm saying? So.
But you're
that's a week-to-week
actually
game
blocking
plan.
that guy with the offside guard.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it either way. You can have a guy blocking him, you can read him, you know, it just really depends. Honestly, I want to run this play to this defense if I can, because I think I got them outnumbered,
You sure do.
okay?
Okay, so then draw it to an eagle
Okay.
front.
That guard has a base rule. Okay, when it's shade or eagle. So he's blocking the 1 against the shade, he's blocking 2 or the 3 against an eagle. Okay. So you got base hook, okay, block back. Now we're gonna have to track this guy, because he's got a free shot through those gaps, because these guys are tied up here, Okay, so then you decide how you're gonna block those guys, and we'll go from there. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like, we wanna decide who we're optioning and who we're blocking. We can do that on this play. I said last week, you know, if somebody's hard to block, they're easy to read. So I would take any of these three guys, who's the most aggressive? You know, the corner, if the corner is in run support, your choices are to split him way out, okay? Like if you're on the hash to the field here, you can split him way out and remove him completely. So let's say he's out here somewhere, okay? But you can't support from way out there, okay? So what ends up happening is you decide which one of these two guys you want to read now, okay? And so this guy's going to have to drop down. So what we used to do when I was at DeSales, if somebody split us out, if we were in cover two, we'd call two sky, and the safety would drop down here, and we'd play that corner off a little bit right there. Okay, so that he could do then we just end up going here and here, you know? You understand what I'm saying? Those are adjustments that you can make based on how they're playing it. I can't draw up every situation for how they're gonna, you know, play the perimeter here, but we're optioning the first guy. I like to option the guy that I can see. So, you know, we could go here, we could option this guy, and we can go here. You just pick who you want to option. Okay?
You said that you used to run the trap, but then that set the trap option, and now you've kind of switched.
Mm-hmm. Because this play, once you pull the ball, this play goes so fast to the perimeter. Once they identify it, they're sprinting out of there. So you run it 2 or 3 times in a row, and they think, oh, here it comes, and they're sprinting out of there, and you give this ball right here, he's off to the races. Those are 80-yard touchdowns sometimes. So, you know, that's why I like it that way. If we try to pound the trap up in there, then my favorite play is the trap, not the trap option. So I'm willing to, you know, get a 2-yard gain, 2-yard gain, 3-yard gain in order to gain a great big play off the trap, okay? But if you try to jam it up in there, then basically you have an average trap play and an average trap option play. Unless you just get lucky.
Let's go back to who you're reading and why for a second, okay? Okay, so what would make the determination for you to decide to block the what we call the sword, which is your strong safety, as opposed to the outside backer?
Every defense has to have a force. Okay?
Right.
Okay, force is the guy that makes everything go back in. You can't get outside of him on a sweep, whatever. Okay? So we want to read the guys outside the tackle. We'd like to read that guy if possible, because that's in our vision when we're going down the line of scrimmage. Okay? So the first thing that we would do is try to identify who's the easiest guy just by alignment to read. Who would it be right here? I think
It's B, I think.
Okay. Well, then that's
The only reason I
right.
say that is the safety's off the line so far.
Okay.
And C's not a factor because he's out of there, so it's either got to be the 5 or the B.
So eliminate this guy by splitting him out.
Right.
Okay. Or let me just say this: let's say your split wasn't real wide, you can crack here, okay, and get this guy here, and you could option there. So that's one way you can do it. Okay. The other way is to do what you said: split him out. Okay. Split him out here. Get him way out there. Let's say he's way out there. Okay, go ahead and block him. option him, go right there. Up in these guys right here, okay? But if you, wait a minute. Okay, I'm tracking the mic, okay? So,
Oh, so the guard is pulling, actually trapping the mic.
He's
Well, he's not
tracking,
trapping, he's
tracking.
mirroring.
Tracking, oh, okay.
he's not, I'm gonna have to show you some film eventually. Because none of this is gonna make sense unless you see it. And my film's not always right, but that's the good part is you can see how we make mistakes and stuff, you know?
No, but you haven't confused me, but you've confused me because right now you've talked about being able to read B, read S, and read C. Okay?
We
How
can
do
read
the
all
kids,
of that.
is that something you do in practice to
Yeah, we
to
determine
that
we
or
determine who we wanna read based on basically their coverage and how they're supporting the run. And then, you know, secondly, we might look at who their best personnel are. Whoever their best personnel is, we might want to option that.
yeah, you read them. Okay.
You're basically saying typically of those three guys, one of those three guys is the most aggressive, which is the guy you want to option, and that's kind of a.
That's what I would say. That's what I would say.
So it would vary week to week based on whatever team you're playing. which
Against
of those
this
dudes.
defense.
Yeah, against that defense. Right.
We saw that more briefly this year.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, you could actually, it could be an adjustment. Maybe you're having trouble, you go in practicing all week thinking, you know, we're gonna option this guy, but somehow this guy's giving you trouble over here. So just change it and option him, you know what I mean? The way you would change it is just go here,
Right, trail that.
okay? Go here and option him.
Right.
Okay. So you could tag it, just say 48 corner. I don't know what you say. You can make up-
So the trap or the mirror block, is that what you called it? The mirror block, the guard that's pulling?
No, he didn't call it that. I
What
did.
you did, okay. Well, the guard that's pulling.
We just
at
say
what-
he's tracking.
He's tracking the end, but what point does he go engage with the guy and make?
Only when he makes his move to the line of scrimmage.
So when he breaks downhill.
So he could be coming like this, and the biggest problem is we want to get to his outside pec. Okay, so the linebacker's going here. We want to be on our landmark, which is his outside pec.
Okay.
Okay, the biggest trouble you have is as a guard wanting to stop too soon, and then the guy gets leverage on him and he gets outside, and the play's kind of screwed up after that.
Right.
We tell our quarterback, if your path is cut off, plant your foot and get upfield, get us all the yardage you can. Okay, and that happens, you know, quite a bit, like 20 or 30% of the time. And as long as your quarterback understands that, he can still get you some pretty good yardage. But the thing is, where the big yardage comes on this play is when we get that guy on his outside pec. And because the trap, the fake is coming up in there, this guy almost has to be in this area here. Okay, it's really hard for him to get out on the edge and support out there in the perimeter. But if he does, we're still running with him. And the best part about it is he doesn't see the guard because he's looking at the ball.
So like when you teach the guard course? I mean, like
We're just
what are you
coming.
teaching?
The biggest thing is for him to get him in his vision when he's in his stance. We're not trying to look for him after the ball snap. We basically want to be in our stance, okay? And we're going to pull flat here like this.
Okay.
And I'm looking for him, and I'm trying to move as quickly as I can. If this guy ends up filling right here, okay, it'll turn out to be a trap block, and my quarterback will plant his foot, and he'll go up the field right there. And there's yardage there,
Right. Okay.
okay? As long as everybody understands what the rules are. But more often than not, he starts running out here.
Right.
Okay, and what the other thing is, sometimes he tries to tackle the fullback. So if he tries to tackle the fullback, we just tell our guy, go out and get around the tackle and try to be an extra blocker. Just don't block our read.
You know that quarterback, he's doing this here, stepping around and coming back, is what he's doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we call it whirly.
No, that's fine, I just want to make sure. I
But
understand.
we've done it both ways. We open up offset. It's a nice counter play.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's, it gives you counter action. So
Sure does.
it freezes the linebackers. When I started at DeSales, when Tony was, we had our state championship year. We had what we called a freeze option. It was just trap option.
Right.
It was just almost the same kind of thing as this. So we ran it out of the eye. The tailback would actually just stand there for a second while the quarterback did whatever he was doing, and then he'd take off, and the linebackers couldn't go. Well, it's the same. It's just the same idea from a different formation. Okay, so
Maybe I'm gonna start with Whirlybird.
No, that's the easiest one. Depends on the athlete, depends on who is quarterback.
I go junior.
No, Junior may be the Viper, but he ain't gonna be the quarterback.
a slow quarterback, which is what we had, actually can gain yards on this on the perimeter. I mean, that's what I like about it. So, and like I said, if you can get the Whirlybird part of that worked out, and I leave that to the quarterback coaches to work it out. But if you can get that worked out, then it's more deceptive.
Well, Whirlybird just becomes, as thinking about it as a quarterback, it's a 3-step move. You step back to 6 or 7 o'clock, you come around and then you plant that foot and then you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So,
It's not as bad as it.
That's not, no,
let's look at
I
this.
think even I could do that.
And I don't have any of my notes in front of me, so.
Might be busy though when you get there.
So let's.
I can see why you get so much cover too, though, because you can't, you gotta be balanced to that in some sense. I mean, when you're running that offensive formation, boy, defensively, if you get too far over, one man over that way, you just check it and go the other way.
When we see this defense right here, I call it recon. You might call
Right.
it 5-3 or a 3-3.
Yeah, it's just recon.
That's the first play I'm running. I'm gonna run this to death. Because they got most of their defense inside the tackles. And they're basically saying, you can't run in there, and I'm saying, I'm gonna run my trap in there. So they're waiting for it, and you're running outside, and you can get outside on this pretty easily. So we're gonna base hook right here, we're gonna